Hi, everybody. This is James Becker, founder and CEO of Fusion Growth Partners. And this is another episode of Going For It with James B. We're going to talk about a fundamental today that I think is absolutely critical. You understand it on a deep level, and that is our fourth fundamental. And I'm reading from our business plan. We believe you must function as the CEO of your business. And it is your job as the CEO to allocate the business's resources to the highest and best use. To give you an analogy, if you had an apartment building and you rented all of the apartments as storage facilities, you would get significantly less money if you rented them in their highest and best use, which was an apartment that someone would live in. This is the same thing for your business. You have assets that you must put to work in a way that's going to give you the highest return. I'm going to read on. This is, of course, an obvious statement, and almost everyone with an ounce of intelligence will agree with this premise. However, very, very few real estate agents follow this common sense fundamental. And most have not even thought deeply about the resources that they have, deeply thought about their value, much less strategically allocating these resources in a way that maximizes their return. If you do that, how much further does that put you ahead of your competition? A lot is my opinion on that. For most small business owners and real estate agents, the number one and most valuable asset you possess is your time and your energy. And you must guard these assets jealously if you are going to succeed in a big way. You must allocate your time in areas that are going to make the most difference in moving your business due north. This means that you must not allocate your time and energy to those areas that do not make a great difference or move the needle with your business. That means spending your time and energy in those areas and efforts that will make the most difference to the growth and profitability of your business. We call those items that make the most difference the macro, while those areas that make the least difference by comparison or little difference by comparison, the micro. Your job as the CEO of your own business is to stay in the macro, to invest in the macro, and to do your best to stay out of the macro the best that you can. For real estate agents, time is our most precious commodity, but it is so often wasted and squandered by most real estate agents. Time is far more valuable than money. Money you can multiply, time you cannot. It is critical to be incredibly mindful of how we spend our time, because once it's gone, it is gone. We consistently work on the activities that can help grow the business in a significant way. And we should be delegating those activities that will help the business grow in only a small way or not at all. In other words, we must work in the macro. We must invest in the macro. And I know I'm being redundant, but I need to be here. Focus on the macro and spend as little time possible in the micro. Letting go, however, of the micro is very hard emotionally for most small business owners and real estate agents because we're all control freaks. We want to control every single thing. But you cannot do that if you want to have an efficient business. Allocating resources for what is best for the future of the business really takes some real guts and an ability to withstand some potential critics. Also, a really interesting thing is that when you're doing something, you should be considering the value of your time compounded into the future. So what you're doing right now may not give you value immediately, but what is the value that it could potentially give you compounded into the future? This is super important to consider the value you may be creating for your business. Not necessarily in that moment, but in the future of the business. And what I mean by this is that when you are working to solve big problems or system problems or process problems, when those problems are solved, we need to consider not only what is the value of that new solution today or tomorrow, but what is the compounding effect of that problem being solved for days and weeks and potentially years to come. If we're spending our time building an SOI network or database, what is the compounding value of that through referrals, repeat business, business in the future? It's massive. Although building that database in the moment may not be paying you very much money. That's the emotional struggle so many small business owners and real estate agents go through. When you solve big issues or when you build a great SOI database, the overall ROI for the time spent could not only necessarily be a 10x what your time is worth now, but it could be potentially 100x or more. We suggest to the real estate agent that when you're working on these items, they must really consider the future value of things they work on in the present, even if there's not an immediate payout. I want to share a story that illustrates a real life business scenario that had tremendous results. Reid Hoffman is the co-founder of LinkedIn, a social networking site for professionals. When LinkedIn was first starting out, it was growing very quickly. The company was adding new users and features at a very rapid pace. And this led to a number of problems as the company wasn't able to keep up with the demand. One of the problems that LinkedIn was facing was that the customer support system could not handle the volume of requests that it was receiving. This led to a lot of customer frustration. People were super mad. They even had people driving hours to get to the office to try and get someone to help them. And people were not able to get the help that they needed. Another problem that LinkedIn was facing was that its website was not able to handle the traffic that it was receiving. This led to the website crashing frequently and made it difficult for people to use the site. Reid Hoffman knew that these were serious problems, and he also knew that the company could not afford to fix both of them at the same time. So he made the decision to let some fires burn in order to focus on what he felt was the most important things. And the company then decided the most important thing was actually making sure that the website was functional. and to develop the necessary features first. In fact, to be able to take the resources and allocate those resources to make sure that they did that, they made the decision to stop answering the phones altogether. They did this for weeks. I can't even imagine. Phones ringing off the hook. Reed and his co-founders correctly ascertained that the technology was the most important problem, as it was preventing new users from signing up for the site, and the lack of features would affect the over-desirability of the site over time. Reed understood that the site and all the features that they needed to include were not stellar and functional, and a competitor would eventually do it better, and would be the reason that LinkedIn became obsolete or lost. Once the website and all of the features were developed and deployed at a level that was deemed sufficient for the time being, the company then was able to take some of those resources and then start working on the customer support system. By letting some of these fires burn, which I think would be so hard for many of us. And what we mean by letting the fires burn, meaning in this case, letting current customers burn, literally, LinkedIn was able to focus on the most important things and grow its business quickly, and grow they did. LinkedIn is now worth $190 billion and has an annual revenue in 2022 of 14.5 million. And they've been increasing about 25% every single year. So if it was good enough for LinkedIn, I want to challenge you and let you know, I think that it's good enough for us to focus on the big issues, the macro, to make sure that our time is being used in a way that's going to make a big difference. And in most cases, what that means for our real estate partners is building that SOI. It is so critical, and so many of you are not doing it. And it's a foundational piece of our business plan, and our business plan works every single time somebody actually works the plan. So, as the CEO of your business, which is you, you must have the discipline to focus on what's going to matter the most and allocate your time in those things, and try and let go of the micro. I know it's hard to do. I know it's hard to let go of some of these smaller detailed things. I know, I get it. But your business, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now, will be so different, so much more powerful, so much more profitable if you can, on a daily basis, make sure you are focusing on the absolute most important items that are going to make the biggest difference for your business. Again, I am James Becker. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this hit home. This is a really important fundamental. If you're going to grow a business, if you're going to have a real business and you want to have true success, this is something you're going to really need to master. We're here to help you. We're here to remind you. And I just want to let you know I appreciate every bit of effort that you put in to improving your business. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.